Hello, my dear friends. I am Dr. Srotaswini Roy. Welcome to my channel, The Pediatrics Classroom. Today, in my classroom, we will discuss the topic failure to thrive. I'll describe it under the following headings: the definition, etiology, clinical features, and management, that is, the diagnosis and the treatment. In part 1, we will complete the definition, etiology, and the clinical features, whereas in part 2, we will see the management, right? So let's begin. The definition. So the literal meaning of the word thrive means to grow. So failure to thrive means failure to grow. So it's a clinical state of growth failure due to any cause. Failure to thrive is characterized by one or more of the following features. Number 1, lack of growth. Number 2, failure to gain weight over a period of time. And number 3, deceleration in growth velocity. So let's understand each of these terms. Lack of growth means when the weight for age is less than the third centile, whereas failure to gain weight over a period of time it means that the growth has plateaued upon serial monitoring. And deceleration in growth velocity means when the weight for age or the weight for height or length crosses two major centiles over a short period of time. So these definitions are only possible when we plot the weight in a growth chart. So for better understanding, I'll first describe the growth in a schematic diagram, followed by the IIP, the combined IIP and the WHO growth chart. So let's see. So in this schematic diagram, the weight is represented in the y-axis, whereas the age is represented in the x-axis. These are the centiles marked on the right hand side: the third centile, the 25th centile, the 50th, 75th, and the 97th centile. So the first definition, as we have said, the first characteristic is lack of growth. So here we can see, which means that the lack of growth means weight for age is less than the third centile. So here is our third centile. So in this third line that you can see, it is constantly below the third centile. So this fulfills one of the characteristics of failure to thrive. The second characteristic was failure to gain weight over a period of time. So if so in the second red line, which we can see here, we see that initially the growth was above the 50th centile, but after a certain age it has plateaued down. That is, there is no gain in weight over a period of time, and hence it fulfills the second characteristic, that is, there is of failure to thrive, that is, there is failure to gain weight over a period of time. And the third characteristic was deceleration in the growth velocity. So in the third graph that we see here, there is faltering in the growth curve. So initially it was in the 75th centile, and now it has reached the 25th centile. So this faltering in the growth curve, we call it failure to thrive again. Now we'll describe the same thing in the combined WHO and IIP weight and height charts. So for better understanding, we'll focus on the girls chart. The girl is represented by the pink line, whereas the boys are represented by the blue color. So we'll focus currently on the pink graph. Here, as we can see, age is marked in the x-axis and the weight on the x-axis. The upper lines show the stature. Here we cannot see, but it represents the stature. And here we can see, if we zoom in, we can see that the centiles are marked: the third, the 10th, the 25th, the 50th, 75th, 90th, and the 97th. This is the standard combined IIP and WHO growth chart for height and weight. So we'll now plot the characteristics of failure to thrive in this chart. So the first one was lack of growth, that is the weight for age will be below the it's quite zoomed in. So the lack of growth means the weight for age should be below the third centile. So here is a third centile. So if we plot a graph which is below the third centile, then we will call it failure to thrive. The second characteristic was failure to gain weight over a period of time. So let's take another color to describe it. So suppose initially the child was following the normal growth curve above the 50th centile, and then say due to some reason after the age 3.6 the growth has plateaued, there is no further gain in weight, then we will also call it failure to thrive. And the third characteristic was deceleration in the growth velocity, that is weight for age or weight for length or height crossing two major centiles. So again we'll take say the red color to describe it. So let's say initially the child was following this 97 centile curve, and after certain age there is growth faltering. See, so here it was following the 97 centile curve and it has finally reached to this below the third centile. So this portion, this is the 97th curve, this is the third centile curve, so it has definitely crossed more than two major centiles, so we will call it failure to thrive. Right? I hope you have understood this point. Coming to the etiology of failure to thrive. Now failure to thrive can have both organic causes and non-organic causes. Organic causes refers to the affection of the organ system, which then leads to failure to thrive, and it contributes only to 20% of the causes of failure to thrive, whereas non-organic causes refers to the environmental factors that results in failure to thrive, and it is the most common cause of failure to thrive. Up to about 80% of the causes of failure to thrive is because of the non-organic causes. So let's first dive into the non-organic causes, which can be further classified as nutritional causes and emotional deprivation. Nutritional causes include inadequate breastfeeding, feeding diluted formula milk, and inadequate caloric provision due to poverty. And emotional deprivation refers to child abuse or child neglect, maternal separation due to any cause such as maternal illness, depression, etc., and family disharmony. It is to be noted that children with non-organic failure to thrive usually presents early by 5 years of age, right? Coming to the organic causes of failure to thrive, organic causes of failure to thrive are due to affection of the organ systems primarily and resulting in secondary failure to thrive due to decreased intake of nutrients, decreased absorption of nutrients, increased loss of nutrients, and increase in the metabolic demand. Conditions like chronic infections like TB, chronic malaria, AIDS all increases the metabolic demand of the body, resulting in failure to thrive. GI conditions like cleft palate (GERD) affects the intake of nutrients due to the mechanical barrier as well as due to the reflux problem respectively, causing failure to thrive. In malabsorption syndrome, there is both poor absorption and increased loss of nutrients causing failure to thrive. Systemic conditions like chronic liver disease, congestive cardiac failure, congenital heart disease, asthma, cystic fibrosis, chronic kidney disease, renal tubular acidosis, malignancies, SLA all increases the metabolic demand of the body, resulting in failure to thrive. Conditions like growth hormone deficiency, the child will be shorter as compared to his peers because of the deficiency of the growth hormone, resulting in failure to thrive. CNS conditions like cerebral palsy and mental retardation, there will be poor intake of nutrients. Also, there will be associated child neglect, and there may be associated systemic problems like GERD, which can all result in failure to thrive. It is to be noted that a child of organic failure to thrive can present at any age group depending when the body system gets affected. It is also to be noted that organic and non organic causes of failure to thrive can both coexist in a child. For example, as I've already mentioned, a CP child can experience child neglect, which is a form of non organic failure to thrive, and also there will be poor intake of nutrients because of the spasticity involved, or GERD, resulting in failure to thrive. Coming to the clinical features of failure to thrive. Now, a child with failure to thrive will present with growth failure, that is, his weight will be less compared to his peers, then his height may also be affected in later stages as compared to his peers. Then there will be signs of micro and macronutrient deficiencies, such as anemia may be there. Then in case of iron deficiency, anemia. Then there will be brittle nails, and in case of vitamin B deficiency, there may be angular cheilitis, stomatitis. If there is a vitamin A deficiency, then there will be without spot. Then bleeding gums may be there in case of vitamin C deficiency, etc. In cases of macronutrient deficiencies, there can be loss of buccal pad of fat. Then there can be presence of multiple skin folds in the buttock. Then there can be dry flagged hair, and there can also be flaky pen dermatosis, etc. Then signs of primary disease may also be there, like in case of a chronic liver disease, there may be hepatomegaly or icterus. Then in case of cyanotic heart disease, there may be cyanosis may be present, the murmur may be present, etc. Now, because the child with failure to nutrition affects the development of the brain, so a child with failure to thrive will also affect some, or will also have some degree of developmental retardation. And if the child is abused or neglected, then usually the child prefers to stay aloof, contained within himself, not interacting much with the family members, or having poor eye contact. There may be social withdrawal and doesn't show much emotion. There will be lack of emotions or apathy, right?